Hi, welcome to Tipton County Pulse. I'm Barrie Foster, Director of the Tipton County Museum Veterans Memorial and Nature Center in Covington, Tennessee. I have our archivist, Sherry Honorati, behind the camera. Thank you, Sherry. Today, our special guest is Rochelle Stidham, who is the brand new publisher for the Leader, which is our local newspaper here. Welcome, Rochelle.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
Well, how long have you been in the newspaper industry?
I've been in the newspaper industry for 34 years.
Wow.
Yeah, for over 34.
Wow, so you've probably seen a lot.
I've seen a lot, heard a lot, done a lot. So, and they've all been in communities like Tipton County, which is, I could have gone larger if I wanted to, but I wanted to stay. I love the small town feel, the small communities, and it's hard at times, but I like it.
Yeah, everyone seems to know everybody.
Yeah, and it's hard to write about your friends and neighbors, and because you have the good, the bad, and the ugly.
And
yeah. But you know, and I that's probably one of my specialties is I understand that from people, and it's just we have to do that. It's news.
It's part of your job.
It's part of the job. And so, you know, I feel like newspapers are very important to a community.
They are.
Of this.
I think, and the newspaper, I think, the Leader is a very important part of this community.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's a good point, because I don't know what the readership is or the subscriptions are, but most people I talk to, when I'll say, "Oh, did you read about whatever in the Leader?" and they'll say, "Oh yeah," and most people I know in this community do read the Leader, and we're lucky to have a newspaper. Some towns don't have a newspaper.
Yes, some have gone due to information is so readily available online that it has forced some family-owned businesses, newspaper businesses, to shut down. So yeah, it's really a sad situation, because newspapers, and just like the Leader, we've been here since 1886, so we're one of probably the oldest.
You are the oldest.
Or we are the oldest.
Sherry used to be a writer for the Leader.
Yeah.
And she still is.
Yes.
When we have for special events and for our Veteran of the Month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we are the oldest, I guess, in it. And then another tidbit is I'm the first female publisher for the Leader.
Yes.
So
yes.
And Echo's the first female editor.
And
Echo's the first female editor.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So I mean that was brought to me when I first got here, and so you know I'm glad to be part of history.
That's awesome. That's real awesome. Well, we're tickled you're here. Being a newcomer, how will you change the Leader, and what kind of changes are you looking at? Improvements, moving ahead, that type of thing.
Well, you know, I've been with a handful of newspapers, from dailies to weeklies in a community like Tipton County. And I'm just going to tell you right now that the Leader is one of the best newspapers as far as what they offer right now. I mean, it's a nice, attractive, it's very readable. The visibility of it is, it's like it has that, a really good feel to it, which is important for a newspaper to make the reader feel relaxed and comfortable as they're reading the newspaper.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. I never thought about it that way, but you're right.
It's very well laid out, and a lot of that is from Echo's, what Echo has done at the newspaper since her tenure there. And she does a very, very nice job with that. What I want to bring to the Leader is more community, more about the community and what the happenings in the community. We do a good job about that, with that kind of thing, but I think there's always room for improvement. And so I'd like to see us do a weekly picture page, you know, and add more correspondence to our paper, local correspondence. You know, it's just like you have local artists here
Mhm.
in Tipton County. Well, I'm sure that there is writers out there that would like to talk about their neighborhoods or what they interest of what readers like to read. And our readers, we have 4,100, and
Is that a subscription
that's
or is
that is subscriptions,
purchases at the
purchases from
grocery
the
store?
stores.
Okay.
Yes, so we have 4,100 every week that get, you know,
Okay, that's a large number.
yeah, and it is for this size of newspaper for where we are in the population of this county.
The county, I think, is somewhere around 65,000,
Yes.
and I can't remember. Sherry, do you remember what the population of Covington is? Is it like 12? 10,000. Okay.
And one thing I want to mention that, you know, because of the online now, you can get your information really fast and quick, and that's what the world has come to now, is, you know, most of your local businesses where we're supported by local businesses, you know, through our advertising, and they all have a digital storefront now. Just about all businesses.
Now,
If they-
explain to me what a digital storefront
Well-
is. I've not heard this term.
Okay, let me explain that. Like if you go right down here to, let's say, what's a good?
The Bradford Family Pharmacy?
Yeah, Bradford Family Pharmacy.
Okay.
They have a storefront outside. They have a building. Well, their website is their digital storefront. They also offer a digital storefront where you can go and look on their website and find your services and goods. You know, that is just as easy as you walking into a business, parking your car and going into the business and talking to somebody.
Okay.
You can now do it online, and that's their digital storefront.
Okay.
And that's where the newspaper, our size,
This is interesting.
Yeah, we're now offering. We're part of Hometown Digital Solutions, and we offer digital solutions to our advertisers now. You know, if they're in need of a enhancement on their website, or they need to target a certain audience, or they need to.
So this is an additional
It's-
service that the leader is offering in addition to the newspaper. And I have one of my questions
ma'am.
was, you all have owned a print shop for many years. Do you still?
We still have that print
So
shop.
you have the print shop and you offer digital
Yeah.
services
On
in
top of
addition
that.
to the written newspaper.
Yes, ma'am.
Plus you all are online.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
What other services are there or?
Well, those are probably the three main.
Okay.
Is the newspaper, our digital solutions, and our print
The
shop.
print shop.
Mhm.
Now, tell me some of the things that the print shop does.
Print shop, we could do business cards, we could do letterheads, envelopes,
What do you do? Big
flyers.
things.
No,
Is
ours.
it posters? Like, let's say the Ruffin.
Yeah, we could do 11 by 17. That's the
Okay.
largest as we can do.
Okay.
But ours is more, you know, we're looking for more of the
Business
type.
and not the specialty.
Yeah, the specialty, our presses, you know,
Okay.
wouldn't hold that. So,
Okay.
but this is exciting because the print shop is new to me. Not printing, but it's
That
because
service?
that service is new, and I'm excited about it because I think I can help enhance that for our local businesses.
Good.
And would love the opportunity to work with people in the community to help them get the needs that they need for their businesses. So I'm excited about that part of it.
Good.
Yeah, yeah.
Good. Now, this is a good question.
Mhm.
Well, they're all good questions. How are the functions of the publisher different from that of the editor?
Well, I'm glad you asked that because
And I apologize. When I first met you, I'm like, oh, you're the new editor. And
Yes.
you were like, no, I'm the new publisher. And
Yeah.
I felt like an idiot, and I apologize.
well, most people think that the publisher and the editor are the same.
I have no clue what the difference is.
Well, and the publisher's role is we're responsible for all facets of the newspaper. you know, and the bottom line, of course.
Mhm.
You know, we like to offer our services, but we also have a budget, and we have to meet a budget. You know, I'm responsible for that bottom line. Where the editor is just in charge of the newsroom and assigning
okay.
stories and connecting with our readers through stories and making sure that our reporters are where they need to be in order to cover stories. That's what she's in charge of. And that's the difference
Okay.
between me and Echo, is she's just in charge of the newsroom and the functions of the newsroom. I'm in charge of the whole operation. Now, if she has an issue, she comes to me and we discuss it and, you know, make decisions based on how we
Okay.
want to proceed with a situation. So,
Okay.
but more or less, she's in charge of the news content, and
Well, that's good to know.
yeah. So there is a big difference. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. If you have an issue, I wear several hats, because usually in a newspaper you have department heads, and you have a circulation director, and you have an advertising director, and you have your editor, and you have your bookkeeper, and I wear several hats. I'm the circulation director along with the ad director, and you know, in a small newspaper like this, you have many hats to wear as a publisher.
Okay.
Whereas Echo just is in charge of the newsroom.
Okay, but when the newspaper gets published each week, who looks at, okay, what ad is going in and what story is going to get published in the sports section, or
That's
So-
that's Echo.
that's Echo and okay.
Yeah. Now the advertisement is, of course, we have sales reps, Andy Posey, who's been here
Mhm.
for many years, and now Ryan Kauser, who is from the Tipton County area. Glad to have that team. They're really punctual, and they go out and sell advertising to the local businesses, and they dictate to how many pages we actually have in the newspaper, because you don't want to, you know, you can't, we could put as many pages in the paper every week, but if we don't have the advertising to support it, then we can't make any money that way, because
Okay.
there's major expenses newsprint.
And one of the things I've said for years, one of my favorite sayings is, it's all about the money.
Mhm.
Whatever it is, whatever subject you're talking about, it's all about the money. Who else is at the Leader?
We have
Jeff Ireland?
Jeff Ireland is our sports editor,
Mhm.
and then Lisa Delancey, she's a reporter, and then we have a full-time graphic artist, Alan.
Okay.
Alan, and then we have our bookkeeper, our office manager is Kathy Griffin.
So you've got, it's not a huge place,
Yeah.
but it sounds like it's cozy,
It is.
and y'all must communicate well, because y'all
It is.
see each other a lot.
Yes, we do, and
You're located right off the square in Covington.
yes, on Munford, 111 Munford Street, South Munford. And so we have our print shop right there beside us.
Okay.
Richard has been our printer there for many, many years, since we were
Okay.
out on 51, on Highway
Okay.
51. So it's all good. I mean, very, very, very nice staff. Very nice
Good.
staff.
Good.
I'm
I've
very
not been
pleased.
inside, I've seen it, I've not been inside it.
Very
but
pleased.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. How has the industry changed since you started your career? What kind of changes have you
Oh.
seen?
Oh my goodness. Now you're gonna, I'm gonna be telling my age, I think, here, but
We all have that.
yeah. But when I started, we were still in paste up, and you know, you take the border tape and you put the border tape down, and you go out and take a picture, and you bring that camera back, and you have to take your film out and give it to the darkroom person, and he develops the film, and then it comes back. I mean, it is so much simpler these days than having it all electronic. But I've seen it to where it's been paste up, strip by strip, getting the stories printed out, pasting it down on paper, going to a plate, burn it on a plate, and now,
Wow, yeah.
before it goes to press, everything is done digitally, and even the plates are done digitally. And you used to have to go make a negative of the paper and take that negative and burn it to a plate and put the plate on the press. Now it just goes right to plate. So everything is digitized. And so yes, we have seen a lot and been through a lot, and it's much simpler now.
Where is it actually printed?
We're printed with a sister paper in Chester County.
In Chester County.
Yeah.
I'm not from here. Where's Chester County?
I'm not either, but it's towards Nashville, I think. So about an hour away.
Okay.
Yeah, he does
Between
a good
here
job.
and Nashville.
Uh-huh. So,
Okay, and so then you get it to them, and then they print it, and
Yep.
they get it back here.
Yep, and
Okay.
then we deliver it. So
Okay.
we deliver it to all the post offices and all the racks and dealers in the area.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
nice.
So, yeah.
Why do you think community papers are still important?
Well, when you talk about a newspaper of this nature, community like this, it is so important to keep newspapers alive, in these markets, because we can write about the guy that has a scholarship to Tennessee. We can write about the individual, like we're covering now, a local story that means a lot to this area that maybe won't mean anything to people in downtown Memphis. So it's important to keep that alive. And I just think that writing about local community events, news, sports, all of it is so important to a community like this, because nobody else can do that. You're not going to see that on Channel 5. You're not going to see that in the commercial
You're right.
appeal. You're not going to see that in, other areas. We are your local information. And you have to have that. The newspaper is the backbone of media. I mean, they're the ones that started years and years and years and years ago, of course. And we need to keep it alive as long as we can.
Well, one of the things I've noticed.
Accountability.
Yeah. One of the things I've noticed, and I was active in the community before I got my job here. I've been here at the museum for 3 years, but I was on the board of the Ruffin Theater in Covington for a number of years, and then I helped found the Tipton Art League, and we have a lot of art receptions. By putting stories in the Leader, we reach a lot of people who don't get on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of the population, I don't know what percentage of the seniors
Yeah.
in this area, they don't have a computer, they don't want anything to do with a computer.
Yeah.
They don't get cable TV, but yet they read the Leader.
They
And
do.
so
They do.
there's a section of people that we want to reach.
Mm-hmm.
And the best way to do that is through the written word of the Leader.
Yes.
And that's why it's so important.
Mm-hmm.
When we have events here at the museum, I'm sending them to the Leader all the
Mhm.
time, and usually they get in, which is
Yeah.
wonderful, because we want to reach that segment of the population.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what that's the area that we can really offer, is those people who don't want to step out into the digital world. They still get their information through the
Yes.
written word. So.
I don't know what the percentage is.
I haven't
Oh.
figured out of our circulation what the percentage is either. I haven't been here that long to figure that. I just know that.
Yeah,
And
I don't know how you would tell that, but I also know that there's a certain percentage of the population that does not like change.
Yeah.
And that's any type of change. And
Yeah.
I've heard different figures on that, 20, 30, 40%. But
And it's like our online. We don't put everything that our website it offers what we put in the paper, but a lot more. So because it drives a different readership.
okay.
So, and we drive that readership through our social media. I mean, it's very interesting. If you're, if you're in business, you want to have a Facebook and a Twitter.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then that drives people to your website. And so it's important to have that. And then, because of the digital age, you want to be able to support the readership there. So we have that. So.
Well, and with Sherry and I, we have a Facebook, and we have the City of Covington website and Tipton County website.
Yeah.
And we're always putting updates on that, and our whole goal is to get people through the door.
Mm-hmm.
We want them to see what's new in the exhibit and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of exhibits, I want to mention we have a 1919 Model 17 Curtis Oriole propeller here. I know you didn't have a chance to see it when you came in. Sherry was able to find out the information on it, and one of our veterans, Butch Moeller, he made like a rack for it, and it's on display. And that's interesting. It was from the very first passenger airplane, and it held 2 people plus the pilot, and it was made for 3 years, something like that. I guess it wasn't economically feasible to produce them anymore. The sales price kept having to go down. What did I say earlier? It's all about the money. So they discontinued, and obviously other planes, were produced and everything. But it's beautiful. And it's big. It's 8 feet long, and when you come in, you take a right, and it's in our World War I exhibit area.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
It is nice, and one thing I would like to mention is that we now have a POW MIA table. It's right over here. This was donated by the local American Legion chapter, and this is the table. It says here, the tradition of setting a separate table in honor of our prisoners of war and missing comrades has been in place since the end of the Vietnam War. I did not realize that it had been around that long. A lot of times you'll go to a restaurant and you'll see a table set like that. And this is what that is. The manner in which this table is decorated is full of special symbols to help us remember our brothers and sisters in arms. There's a few things about this table. The table is smaller than others. That symbolizes the frailty of one prisoner alone against his or her oppressors. The white tablecloth draped over the table represents the purity of their response to our country's call to arms. The empty chair depicts an unknown face representing no specific soldier, sailor, airman, or Marine, but all who are not here with us. The round table shows that our concern for them is never ending. The Bible represents faith in a higher power and the pledge to our country, founded as one nation under God. The black napkin stands for the emptiness these warriors have left in the hearts of their families and friends. A Purple Heart medal can be pinned to the napkin. The single red rose reminds us of their families and loved ones. The red ribbon represents the love of our country, which inspired them to answer the nation's call. The yellow candle and its ribbon symbolize the everlasting hope for a joyous reunion with those yet accounted for. The slices of lemon on the bread plate remind us of their bitter fate. The salt upon the bread plate represents the tears of their families. The inverted wine glass reminds us that our distinguished comrades cannot be with us to drink a toast or join in the festivities of the evening. We are very, very pleased to have this here. One of the things, the American Legion meets here every other month, and we have a number of vets organizations that do that. And they asked if they could put that in here, and we said, of course, absolutely.
Well, that fits perfect here.
It fits perfectly
Yes.
here, and I had never heard of it until I started my job here 3 years ago. But I was not aware that it was around for so long. But every once in a while you'll see it in a restaurant, and I think that's neat.
Yeah.
That's really neat.
It makes still top of mind awareness that is still a big
Absolutely.
part of
And I think we take our freedom for granted a
Yeah,
lot,
yeah.
and it's just a reminder, wow,
how precious.
it is precious. Isaac Hayes Day is coming August 19th to Fraser Park. It is our first annual. It is being sponsored by this museum.
Oh,
And yesterday, Sherry went down to the Stax Museum in Memphis, and she met with their executive director there, and he is loaning us a number of artifacts from him. And we will have our new exhibit up that day, August 19th. It's a Saturday. The event is down in Fraser Park from 10 to 5. They're going to have a bunch of stuff there. I think they're looking at getting the water slide for kids. They're looking at having ice cream. It's just going to be a big
nice.
celebration. There's going to be lots of vendors there. And we're going to have the museum open here. We're open every Saturday anyways. But we would like for people to come in and see the exhibit. And it'll be up for a little while.
nice.
It is nice. We have a few other events real quick. We are co-sponsoring with the Covington Tipton Chamber a children's art contest called Fresh. And it's a contest where the children give us some artwork of something that you would find for sale at the Covington Farmers Market up there on the square. The deadline, we've got till August 4th. They're putting in their entries, they're bringing them straight to the chamber. And then Saturday, August 12th at 9 a.m. up there, we will have the award ceremony. So all the kids that have entered and their families and just people in the community, we want them to come to the farmer's market, buy their vegetables and buy their canned goods and everything. And that will be at 9 o'clock that morning. So that's a first for us, and we're real excited about that.
Good.
Another lecture that's, this Saturday, tomorrow, is Sherry's lecture on genealogy. Also that day, August 19th, Dr. Stephen Foster, who happens to be my husband, but he's a national vaccine expert. He will be lecturing here on the flu, what you don't know can kill you.
Wow.
And so that should be interesting. He advocates everyone to get a flu shot.
Really? Okay.
He does. So that will be August 19th at 10 a.m. here till about 11:30. And that event is free to museum members and $5 for non-members. And we'll have refreshments and plenty of time for questions and answers. Then on August 12th, Saturday from 10 to noon, we are having the artist series for kids, Vincent van Gogh. The children will learn about Vincent van Gogh and paint his wheat field with cypresses in acrylics. So that will be here.
I'd like to do that.
We actually had a mother-daughter duo do one of the children's, one of these. And you know what? That's fine. Bring it on. If you want to come, please come. The fee is $20 for museum members, $25 for general public. A sibling discount is available, and we'll have a snack.
Okay.
And then we have applied for a grant through the Tennessee Arts Commission, an ABC grant, which means Art Builds Communities. This is the first time we've done this. But we are hosting a 2-day oil painting workshop the first 2 Saturdays in September. Mike Elkins is an award-winning artist. He is a retired architect. He's a fabulous painter, and he will be teaching here. The 2 Saturdays, September 2nd, September 9th from 10 to 3. The fee is for members $50 a day and general public $70 a day. But the thing is, it includes all the materials plus lunch.
Oh, that sounds perfect.
Well, it's really a good deal, and if you've ever bought art supplies, you know that's worth it. You can sign up for 1 day or both days. He's going to cover the basics each time, and then we're going to paint a different painting each day. So if you can't make both of them, that's fine. He'll go over the basics in the beginning. He'll have a handout. And so just call the museum, 476-0242 to register. That's what's going on in the community, and thank you for joining us. See you at the Tipton County Museum.